Okay, where did we leave off with this one? I think in my last video you guys might have seen me do an unboxing video of this guitar. I was extremely excited to receive it. It's a made in Japan, 89 Fender Stratocaster, contemporary standard. This is the version 4 with the Kahler Spyder Trem. They went from a Fender System 3 Trem to this Kahler 2720 Trem, Spyder USA, made in USA. So yeah, I was excited to get this because a year after this, they Fender changed the model to the Floyd Rose Stratocaster, and they put a Floyd here instead. So this is kind of a rare model. How desirable is it? It's questionable because how good is this Trem? Well, I'll tell you, even if it was amazing, the problem is it was short-lived and quickly replaced with the Floyd Rose design. So finding parts is difficult and costly. And by costly, let me kind of show you here. The Trem posts here. Let's reach in there. That Trem post down there, it's stripped out, and this one's actually bent. I found a used set for 30 bucks. The string block, just this block right here. So not the saddle, not the bolt, not the adjustment screw, none of this. Just this little tiny block right here is $15 each. That's $15 for one. There's intonation adjustment screws down there. Cost a lot each as well. And these bolts back here, these longish bolts, these are more reasonable, $10 each. So rebuilding one of these is extremely costly, and I can't even find those screws. So I bought this off of Reverb with through a seller that had like 1,000 positive feedback. So I was confident that I was getting something decent. And you know what? Let me pause the video and read the description of this guitar. Alright, so I got the write-up here from Reverb. It says, 1988 Fender Stratocaster. Guitar is in good, used shape. Has some scratches. Dings, chips, and wear marks. Let's flip this thing over. Again, you can see this crazy destroyed finish back here. And yes, there's dings and chips and scratches and everything as well. The back is just destroyed. Well, but what's really destroyed by definition would be this massive, I mean, here's my fingertip as reference. This massive chip there. And there's dings along the body and scratches and all that good stuff too. So, again, the ad says, has some scratches, dings, chips, and wear marks. That's all about the condition. What else can we see? There's some issue with the neck there, slight issues. I mean, I'm not sure how much this camera will pick it up, but there's scratches all along and dings in the neck as well. And there's some headstock damage there. There's the missing cap for the tuner. Flip it over. There's actually a chip on the side of the fretboard there. So not the best shape here. Continuing, the pickups have been upgraded to Fender Lace Sensor Gold Hot pickups. And yes, Lace Sensor Hot Gold pickups. Has some fret wear. Well, let's see here. The top frets look unplayed. Grungy, but unplayed. And you go down here. See if we can get the right angle here. You can see that. Yeah, they're flatter here. Definitely flatter. So it has some fret wear. I agree with that. Nothing extreme there. Sounds good. Awesome neck. Made in Japan. Comes with a tremolo bar. Yes. And gig bag. And that's the full write-up. It says condition good. So, I mean, is that a chip? Ding? Scratch? How does that even happen? How do you damage inside this whole tremolo area here to that extent? This is obvious. This is what happens when you drop a guitar. In fact, you can see the impact right there, the impact spot, right in the middle where the paint was pushed into the wood, and then the area around all chipped away. So that's obvious, but this to me is not obvious how that happened. Now, what wasn't disclosed in any of that is this tremolo. Look at those screws. Those should be Allen heads. Someone tried to slot them because obviously they stripped the Allen heads and someone tried to slot them. And look at that one. Look at that, it's like a frowny face. And this is I'm not sure if my camera will zoom in enough, but these have some sharp edges. They were just very crudely slotted. So my initial thought was that, well, the initial problem was that the strings were laying flat on the fretboard, which you, if you saw my unboxing video, I think that was shown in the unboxing video. So I went to adjust that. I removed the tremolo, took the springs off the back. There was no string tension on this. I tried to put string tension on it and it was still laying down, so I had to untune it all, pull the tremolo off, and then I noticed that these were stripped and this post was bent. So I couldn't even move it, and when I did, it was able to move it a little bit. It started to do the wobble turn. So I'm like, oh great, that post is bent, which kind of makes sense. The guitar was dropped here on the treble side. So at some point in its life, this guitar sustained a heavy fall and was likely, still strung up and caused a big jolt to this trem post and bent that trem post. So my initial thought after that was then, okay, I need new trem posts because these are stripped out and this one's bent. And then these are very wonky and they need to be replaced. And along those lines, these have sharp edges. And you see that E and B string one is like double slotted. It's horrible. It's super sharp edges, drilled, slotted off center, and just a complete mess and about to fall apart. So I started compiling parts list that I would need. So again, replacing these screws, these bolts here, $10 a piece. Some of these blocks that are all corroded. You can see the good ones in the middle here, and these top ones are just, the metal's all just chewed up. Those are $15 a piece for those. These saddles, I can't even find, where are they? These saddles here I can't find yet, but I'm sure they're expensive. And that one's like rusting. There's like 2 of them that are in bad shape there. I haven't even gotten to these intonation screws. So going through the parts list, it was adding up to hundreds. Oh, and then I was trying to adjust stuff and look at stuff and say, okay, well, I'll replace this, I'll replace that. And then I got to these. Let me see if I can show you this. So there's your fine adjustment screws. And you see, I mean, they have different heights to them because that's what they do. They go up and down. But you see that low E string? That's not a camera trick. That is an angle. So this guy, he actually will, it will unscrew. And these come out. So what happens, if you don't know, these screws screw inwards to adjust the tuning. That pushes down in this bar here. That pushes down, and this makes the string go sharper, and up higher is more flat. So once you lock the nut, you can adjust this tuning at the bridge. And that's what these do. So, sorry for the shaky camera. Let's get a little bit of light there. Okay, so these, you hear that? These move up and down. You can see the bridge moving up and down. That's what these screws do. They move this up and down. Ow! I just cut myself on the sharp edge. So that's what those do. But this low E, ow! These are super sharp. Just cut myself again. Alright, using a different finger with no blood, hopefully. But this one doesn't push down very much. And this screw is all bent. You can see as I turn it, the angle changes. So there's your wobble turn. So this screw is actually bent. But even getting it back into the block here, it should go down to the bottom, but it stops there. There's no more turn on that. So something is messed up with the spring mechanism for this saddle. I don't know. And this screw being bent doesn't help anything. And I was looking even closer. And so these bolts, these super sharp bolts, they sit between these channels. And you should see a little bit of daylight between there. And I should use a flashlight to show you guys. But there's daylight between all these. You get to this low E string, and you can tell that it's cantered this way. It's coming this way. Instead of coming straight, it's coming off to the side. So you look at all these, lined up, lined up, lined up. The high E string's a little off, but this low E string is off. So this whole thing is bent and touching this. So the screw is bent. The bolt itself is bent this way. I'm not sure what else is bent in there. If I need a new block. So this has severe trauma. I'm probably missing some other telltale signs. And I'm not sure why this isn't lined up, this third one here. That's slanted, that's a little bit troublesome. So, I was thinking, okay, can I still save this? Come on, focus. I'm an optimist. I like to repair things, I like to tinker. Even when your camera's blurry. Come on, there we go. So then I had this bar installed, and it's your typical Trem bar where you tighten it down. It gets closer. So it's a little loose, but it's not too loose. But that's about as far as I can tighten it, because if I go any further, it hits that fine tuner. So I back it off here, and there's my tremolo. And right away, you see this. So that's the bar that was supplied with the tremolo. Is it the original bar? I don't know. But it ain't working. Alright, try it again. Got a phone call. Alright, so here's the bar. Call this one a wiggle stick because it wiggles. So you play a note. Up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, it's almost touching the string level at this point. So there's a lot of movement with very little change in pitch. And again, this bar is tightened down. It's close down to these strings here. And it's hitting the fine tuner. So I can't tighten it anymore. There is an Allen bolt over here that might lock it in place. But still, it should be snug. It shouldn't be so loose in the channel. It shouldn't do that within the channel. And you can see there's damage to the channel too. So the base plate itself probably needs to be replaced. And you know how much... Alright, let me just walk over to a Floyd Rose. So, Floyd Rose original. You hit a string. You hit the bar. Everyone knows how it works. I can't, wrong hand. So let's come over here, let's see what happens with this Kahler. If you push down all the way in this bar, it barely moves the string. And that's all the way in there. I'm touching the pickup. I'll be touching the string. There it is, touching the string. So that's not even a half step maybe? And then on the upside, so this has like no pitch movement on the strings, a ton of bar movement, wiggle space here, no pitch movement to change the pitch. So this, not only is this thing sharp, cutting my fingers, can't be adjusted, can't be raised or lowered to adjust the height of the tremolo, and it's literally falling apart and bent, and the fine tuners don't even work. This one doesn't work at all. The bar itself is worthless. The whole tremolo is worthless because it barely does anything. And there's just a ton of slop and no movement. So one of my next videos is going to be me trying to retrofit a Floyd Rose to this guitar to see if that works. The seller insists this guitar played great before he shipped it and it had no problems. So all of these problems, all these, the stripped out holes, the bent post, this floppy trem bar that doesn't work, all these slotted posts, bolts, and the slotted nut lock screws. None of this existed when he shipped it, so this is all apparently, UPS opened the box up, I guess, and slotted all these and made them super razor sharp and bent all these posts and everything else. And so, again, it's supposed to be in good shape. And the seller had good feedback, so I trusted him. Now, luckily, I bought this off Reverb. Luckily, Reverb has stepped up and tried to help me, but again, unfortunately, looking closer at this This tremolo is kind of beyond help. It needs a full replacement, and they're just not available. And the replacement parts alone are super expensive, so that, I mean, even if you found a replacement block and everything, it would be hundreds of dollars to replace this unit. So, I'm kind of stuck here. I'm not sure what's going to go on with this. It's a beast. I'm going to try to fix it. I'm going to try to put a Floyd in there, and we'll see how that goes. But that's it for this video. So, buyer beware out there, you know. You trust these sellers, and then they wind up selling you a piece of junk, effectively. And you're left either trying to fight for a return, or to attempt to repair on your own here. But that's this guitar. We'll keep you posted. Come back to a future video and check out where we stand with this thing. And as always, do the YouTube thing. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. This is Birdman. I will see you on a brighter day.